Let's cool down, just cool down. Go around one by one. Relax, relax, right?
In the middle of BTS's Baltimore concert, Taehyung sat beside Jungkook and leaned toward his ear, then appeared to whisper 3 words that instantly sent ARMY into a frenzy. "I love you." Jungkook's reaction made the moment even more impossible to ignore. It happened within just a few seconds, surrounded by the deafening screams of tens of thousands of fans. But there was no dramatic announcement, no specially planned spotlight, no giant screen explaining what had just happened. Just Taehyung, Jungkook, a quiet interaction, and a reaction that immediately made fans replay the moment again and again. So, what exactly happened between them on that Baltimore stage? And why did this simple moment become one of the most talked about interactions of the night? Let's take a closer look. ARMY, welcome back to Taekook fans. The second night in Baltimore was already filled with everything fans expect from a BTS concert. Massive energy, unforgettable performances, glowing light sticks, and thousands of voices singing together. But sometimes, the moment that stays in your memory isn't the loudest one. Sometimes, it's the moment you almost miss. And that is exactly what happened here. Taehyung was sitting beside Jungkook when he suddenly moved closer. At first, it looked completely natural. Nothing dramatic. Nothing that immediately suggested something unusual was happening. Then Taehyung leaned toward Jungkook's ear. For a few seconds, their attention seemed to shift away from the enormous crowd surrounding them. And that's when fans watching the footage began to notice. Taehyung appeared to whisper something directly to Jungkook. According to the interpretation that spread among fans, the words sounded like, "I love you." 3 words. Only 3. But in a stadium filled with tens of thousands of people, those words immediately became the center of attention. And Jungkook's reaction made fans even more curious. His response appeared subtle, a small expression, a brief smile, and a reaction that lasted only moments. Then the concert continued. But for ARMY watching closely, the moment was already unforgettable. The footage began getting replayed. Fans slowed it down. They watched Taehyung's movement. They watched Jungkook's expression. They looked at the exact moment Taehyung leaned closer. And suddenly, a moment that lasted only seconds became a conversation that continued long after it happened. That is the magic of live BTS performances. You can plan the songs, you can plan the choreography, you can plan the lights, but you can never completely predict which tiny interaction will capture the audience's heart. And this Baltimore moment felt different because it wasn't presented as some huge dramatic event. There was no announcement, no special visual effect, no giant screen explaining what fans were supposed to notice. It simply happened within the flow of the concert. And perhaps that's why it caught so much attention. The stage was enormous. The crowd was enormous. The production was enormous. But the interaction itself was incredibly small. Just 2 members sitting beside each other. One leaning closer, one reacting, and a few quiet seconds that thousands of fans couldn't stop thinking about. For a long-time ARMY, moments like this are part of what makes following BTS so special. The members have shared more than a decade of stages, schedules, travel, rehearsals, celebrations, and challenges. They've grown together in front of millions of people. So naturally, fans notice the small gestures between them. A smile, a laugh, a shoulder tap, a quick glance, a supportive gesture. Sometimes those details disappear almost instantly, but when a camera catches them, they become memories that fans can revisit again and again. And that's exactly what happened in Baltimore. Of course, there is something important we should remember. We weren't inside their conversation. We don't know exactly what was said privately. We can't know what either member was thinking. So while many fans interpreted the whisper as "I love you," that interpretation should remain an interpretation, not a confirmed fact. What we can see is the interaction itself. Taehyung sat beside Jungkook. He moved closer. There was an apparent whisper. Jungkook reacted, and fans noticed. That's enough to make the moment interesting without turning speculation into fact. The beauty of the moment can simply come from the warmth fans perceived between 2 longtime members and friends. And perhaps that's why the interaction felt so powerful. It didn't need to be exaggerated. It didn't need a dramatic reaction. It didn't need an elaborate production. The moment was quiet, and sometimes quiet moments hit harder than the loudest ones. Imagine being inside that stadium. Thousands of ARMY are screaming. The lights are moving across the venue. The music is filling the air. Everyone is focused on the stage. Then suddenly, you notice Taehyung sitting next to Jungkook. He turns toward him. He leans closer. Jungkook reacts, and you immediately think, wait, what did he say? That single question is enough to make fans replay the footage. And once the "I love you" interpretation started circulating, the emotional reaction became even stronger. But whether you heard the same words or interpreted the moment differently, one thing is undeniable. People noticed, and they cared. Because sometimes, the biggest concert memories come from the smallest moments. A few seconds, a quiet exchange, one subtle reaction, and suddenly, ARMY is replaying the footage, sharing theories, and asking the same question. What just happened? That's exactly what happened in Baltimore. For Taekook fans, the moment was emotional, but the best way to appreciate it is to focus on what was actually visible without turning interpretation into fact. Two longtime BTS members shared a brief exchange on a massive stage, and somehow, those few seconds became one of the moments fans couldn't stop talking about. I love you. Whether you see it as a sweet friendship moment, a playful interaction, or simply a warm exchange between longtime members, it clearly caught ARMY's attention. And maybe that's the real magic of live concerts. You never know which tiny moment will become unforgettable. Sometimes it's hidden between songs. Sometimes it's just a glance or a smile. And sometimes it's a moment that makes you stop the video and say, wait, go back. That's what made this Baltimore clip so fascinating. It was quick, it was subtle, but once fans noticed it, they couldn't stop watching. So, ARMY, did you catch Taehyung leaning toward Jungkook the first time? Or did you only notice it after replaying the fan cam? What did you think about that whisper? Let us know in the comments. And remember, what we see on stage doesn't always reveal everything happening privately, so let's keep the discussion respectful. If you enjoyed this Baltimore breakdown, subscribe to Taekook fans, and turn on notifications for more BTS moments. Some moments are loud, some are emotional, and some happen so quietly that you almost miss them. But once you see them, you remember them. Thank you for watching, ARMY. This video is based on publicly visible footage, personal interpretation, and fan discussion. It is for entertainment purposes only and does not claim to confirm any private relationship or unverified information about the artists. Until next time, keep supporting BTS and the members, because you never know when just a few seconds will become the moment everyone remembers.